Yeah, I check. Okay, this. I don't know, yeah. Dollar don't worry, GB, no worry, GB, gay, Tarwa, don't Ji, Jembe, what to Jubra, Jim, Tamji, Jesu, GB, my Nampa, don't Yambi, Semchen, Tamji, Deva, don't Senor de la Nami Parayan Tapara Zobe Chanjur Bochi Topara Chai Dolai Domara Chibe Chai Nobara Chibe Vidarva Don Tamji Chembe Vartu Jubara Chiba Tamji Tebu Jebe Ma Namka Dan Nyambe Simche Tamji Deva Dan De Dubara Dan Chi Nyor De Lana Mi Bara Yanda Bara Zobe Chanjur Bo Che Tobara Cha English.
All mothers, sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly will I establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood.
Ji de sang ma ji wa de nga yi sun ge wa la ko ma xie wa de nga yi sun ge wa la ko a tu te re ne song de ni ma sang da sam je wa de nga yi sun ge wa la ko.
Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind.
Sa ji bo ju zhou xin me duo zhang hui re nei jie nian de jian ban de sang ji yin na mei de bu wa yin zhou gu nan da xin gu zhou ba ra zhou Om Guru Devan Draganera Mandala Badringa Soha.
The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the four continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. Om Guru Deva Dakini Ratna Mandala Prati Soha.
Semchen Namje Zamba Zoye Chedra Chedawa Che Chung Du Moyan Te Kwa Ye Chu Jin Kolo Kwa Tu So.
Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and likewise the mental capacities of sentient beings.
Dorjee Changje de lo naro tang marwa mala chuje gamba ba pamo chwa je wan de gong ba ga ju lama nong la sur ban de azning je bo sa jong lama de changjo sim je de sim na nong ro wa gun la de ba ji ba yin ban de a de hyo la sur ban de da jang de changjo ma do ji ba ren jiang song je nyam ne de hyo ne changjo sim jiang jong ma da changjo sim je xin dong ji ba hyo je wa gun de yang da lang dang de mi chuje de la nong ju sa dang lam je yong de la ro dorjee chang ke kong pan yor to sho. That's my good evening. No, today, Milarepa Katsanti. Namtarse, Marwanji, before the Cassandra Sonata, Marwanji, I can reach you to the morning and Lovinis.
So that's the level of evening to everyone. And so last week we spoke about how Milarepa first met with Marpa. And so now we will continue with how this encounter went.
Tambo Shila Chinos, Bombadi, Son, Chujalan, so Martons, person, Chumi, nobody shall mean about the Sari, say. The news have got to dance on Setene, Lamata, to not to do use some magic. Lotus Jim.
So last week we said that Milarepa first requested for the Dharma, food and clothing from Marpa, and then Marpa said that so either I give you Dharma or food and clothing, and so Milarepa chose the Dharma, and so then having chosen the Dharma, he went out to look for food. Cattle and there's a lot of food and stuff that he loaded this cattle with, and then he brought it back to the Lama's residence. And then exhausted when he arrived, he just dropped the cattle to the floor, and this caused the Lama's room to tremble. And so then the Lama jumped up and he yelled at him, "So you're trying to bring down my house now?" And Milarepa, without having a negative thought of the Lama, he just thought to himself, it just seems that the Lama has quite a fierce temper.
这马路不影响我，这点点伤势，变成哪路人不晓得，光见什么事呢？我听到这伤的这个轻松，真的伤别给就怕东的给嘛不，同学的轻松是呢，就看他们没路的，弄路的蛮没脾气是伤的。我真的没来的把这个在秋情都有吧，秋寻都有吧的，但都别给，什么就都是在秋在学图片。
And so then Milarepa offered this empty copper kettle to the Lama, and so then the Lama held the kettle in his hands, and then later he said that this is auspicious. This is what I offered to the Guru Naropa, and so then he raised his kettle. And he sounded the handles, and he struck it and made it ring very loud. And so then after that, he set it down and lit some butter lamps. And so in that moment, Milarepa was intense longing to practice the Dharma.
现在那没学的那么我长大个嘛对吧？见忙大不些用不养着交通当零八没动当交最不我让过也从嘛就定那是吧的保养出的个那么的种呢是吧进步不当话学是吧都活动不方面这个呢能被出也用几项出工呢或者课班子做呢当中呢或者那东呢你就进步去变推当就让推当是的话从课完的那从他从那边讲的路直接路这边他妈就被这个推当的课班那这些的对牛头因为我们忙不车西巴是呢就情况都别是呢的送的呢没那之前都有当呢但是这边他妈学习就这块去给了说那么的这个呢经历就让我那么的这方面就会为呢那么很多可能觉得这做过些吧个人因那种差天慢慢的过着俺们把些了因那就做的我他就让给人多把那么就呢可把那没什么说的呢这么给呢就 la zong chambe da a zong zibe de ne yi chapo mu be yong jie sim so ji nang bo na ma phe ne dang ni chuo ma bo se ba ma ga ma ji kale ji da ma de na tu ma dong chu la bu xie na do be ga da ma do de la bo be ka he zi luo qi de ne da ma de de gu ne na king na ke jiu de song wo de ne da ya ma be ke 撒迦科学很好了，别年轻程度，这啦，现在在跑，撒迦科学很好了，你罗马这都别都过当时，就是叫是啦，松是，真就是了话，都是大松是，但是他就我那就是了话，就钱不多，他每次这他就钱是大松是，往就钱是大，真的，他就让我等我拿了这许多，就他这么那时候也我的，这么那时候2块钱的啊，等我拿了做，这边行上的，是俺没把没先把，可能是那自己的，这拉松是这个中当的。 donc tu sens Milarepa be sem tu sens tu yom da mi no sum sum da chi sens ti pernanta tu da gong me dis donc
ti tambo de chesonga
oh ta tambo ta marwe ke churan kon saja ka ke mo ka ke ni chu chi do o tra sera de pops saja ka ke mu ke churan kon la be no ma de so de cho nga chen do sran tu je yops 我这期写松是这几率都的写了什么大同松是，这大同是率的呢，咱们那里边去，他就推荐不我那都是，没推荐写大松是，我真的他就让我等我那罗其几率，他等我那罗就好上上的是没，我这个来听率讲，并且那罗车节率节上节呀，等我那罗是吧，就2块钱，等我那罗就别的是，就让这么一呢，第一查什么样呢？没，俺没把没先把这可能就让做一些写，这搞中大东松是。 这空被想怕松是，这用到面他们给在生存的起松是，我真的提碰到的，你真的当然当我就忙不是，人是他就是想嘛旁是没当我看来看地过是，真的当他公司他们都得去刚把加入其实，这都在那啊，这已经多过3万元这个是，我真就这种松是。
So then at some point then Marpa said that so there are these patrons, Marpa had these patrons that were being harmed by some people from a different area and stealing their provisions and so on and causing all kinds of trouble. So then the Lama said, since you are very skilled in casting hailstorms, you should cast some hailstorms upon those 2 particular regions, and then after you do that, I will give you the Dharma, all Dharma instructions. And so then that's what Milarepa did. He cast a terrible hailstorm on those 2 regions, and then again requested Dharma teachings from Marpa. And then Marpa responded to that. How dare you ask for the Dharma when you are just casting spells. And so at that time he gave him a name, like a nickname, calling him Tuchen, like the great sorcerer, calling him, you are just a great sorcerer. And should I now reward you for all your evil deeds? If you would put forward this request to anybody else, they would just kill you. And so get away. And Milarepa was disheartened and in despair, and he cried. And the Lamas, so Marpa's wife, consoled him, and she said, "Do not be disheartened. Go fulfill all the tasks that you're being asked of, and I will give you." So then the Lama said, just keep working, do not be disheartened, and to finish the task of building several towers, then a tower. Then when you finish with that, then I will give you the Dharma. Not only that, I will also provide you with clothing and food.
Juda Chumina, Chita Chita, the Dharmachi Kata, Naranke, Kapo Mede Chumina, Choran, Yuchiba Hindu became the Mark of the University. Some Jamaja don't buy in, you want the Hindu which you don't be Shida San, who announced Kabachon, Kali, or Chief President Najibi and Kala, they be some Katambo Yuba Marina, but they were used up the so was in the Shachoran and Tanda Worship and the Worship, Chitano, Lamakasam, Matu, Kalande, Zavayela, Sasa Major, the major, the Archipelago, Yam Joker, and Namiki, Pipata, Chinaka, the Davids, and Kandaram, the Chilamobane, the Yamamajun, the Mayon, Sasa Medo, the major, the Yana Chancho, I want to change Kasana, Chankes, and Karachi. Shetama, Jung, the Nejan Kargamu, say from be king Karazi, but an da do Bachas and Paratu. To some La Yantabazi, Equate and Chansevani, some of Diane, nothing very much to some share, go by in season. To some share, they be at some Jalomba Matune, to Jan Katsepani, as you Kadachi in a Meshida. Sekala, more you went in it, and then the message in Badina, Ranwanda, Mazina, Yamazina, Toba, Toba, Toba in the Tadaki and the Tarachuna, to some day, Babamashu, to them down. And the Ye may go on the Chimbas on that should be one at the almost use a cut from the Mungunda the somebody engaged you in Tobami Panoria, so I made it that I may be a kid of a major, the big and I'm certainly to the major. But a man to get a king will be a simple was a million to the big Lamika in cut from Sasame do the major G. Or the Tamariki, Damana, the not if captures want to catch it, the measuring again at was. Or then Jetang Juban, the Juban Manda, the Kawak Juba Sores, Churning Richembo, the Quantum, Sanji images from your Mares. Or then Zons, let's concern Simba Watch on Zons, take a watch on the net, and combat Sherry, she said, this, the tumble combat. Combat Dumbos jobs allow Sons, the check us that. Some of the start the Raymond such as in budget. The party such as Sasami Dosum Domis Chas. Then Yanja such as in budget, Dagamte jobs allow Sons. Then Dagamte Marati Chanti city news. Or then do the check on 10 Raymond Stakatan at this Rassus nose. Or then such as in budget, Angiman on China, or maybe so sandwich. Then such a chamber that cut some jobs allows. They took some check alone, then the Sulawsons. They Lamach and Lawsons, cut on somewhere down the Chun Lamdamis, and I am also suggesting magic. Mention Lamu miss. 2 and 2 jobs was our service in the Pike Mina. As I wish it out of the Gashman, those cut some jams. They got on down Mamma Chison, second sample motions. Did I eat good? On the Jelly show them or I eat said Charles met out of your marriage. Sample Chimbo, Gunda down on the Milarepa Jelly trouble goes on the Jima Yom Damin Hamu years down, and Jima down.
So then the Lama said, I will give you the Dharma teachings, and these are Dharma teachings. If you possess these teachings and are able to meditate on them, you will attain enlightenment in a single lifetime. And then when he said that, Milarepa's mind was put at ease. And so then Marpa said, but first you have to build this house, this tower. And so first he decided that in like a certain area he needed a round house, a round tower. And Milarepa started constructing the tower, and when he was about halfway done, and the Lama came and said, well, I didn't think it through. So tear it down and bring all the earth and stones back to where you got them from. He brought him to a different place and said, actually, at this place, you must build a semicircular tower. Then again, Milarepa started building the house, the tower, and when he was about halfway finished, then again the Lama came and said, this is not how what I want. I must have been drunk the other day or not given you proper instructions. So take it all down again and bring the earth and rocks where you found them. So we need a different tower over here. It should be triangular. And so then Milarepa started to construct a triangular tower. And when he had finished some part of constructing the tower, the Lama arrived and he said, "What are you doing? Who told you to build such a house?" And then Milarepa responded and he said, you told me, you ordered this of me twice. And Marpa said, "I don't remember ever having given you such an instruction. And are you trying to cast a spell on me by building a triangular house?" And again, the Lama scolded him and said, "Tear it down. This is not the house I need." And so then he again tore down the house, and he was overcome with sadness, really yearning for the Dharma, but not receiving it. And so, so actually at that time, Milarepa was about to give up, but then Marpa's wife kind of cunningly brought him back by writing a letter. And actually this condition of her bringing like him back and not having to go through an additional hardship here actually prevented him from later attaining the rainbow body. Ninka ne kara ze ekin ke ye be ke je nga je su som ne ni pa pu je wi zum pa yo wa chen pa ma si me den ko be je da no so la bon bo su yo zong be chen yo ga chu chu me ta ne yong je ke bon bo zang yong jian chang be yo bo pang tang yong je ke ni da bon bo ji pa jo ya ko ma ze be ga mo yi la ya ba ka len ze dong mi ba ze ye dong mi ba ye che pra san de la rong ni me ba ku je na re ni be ja ran de ye yo yu be ya me sem na me hin ne chu la ja ju be bong bu ji wi jiang jie nong ba xin xi ma chu be zu hua de ma hong zong zhen ne da zhen ne da gap chung ma bo dang zhen yu ji tang ge wa la zhen ma tong song sa du po ni ko ge wa ma qin bo ji tong song se jia xu mi se ya me ni ke xu mi zhe yong da ma mu ke ma ba zhe da ma na ho to na me ga le ne ju ti xia ten xu song de xu du yong ke ta ma ba kala Milarepa kala ti ni yang ye za chi cho song song no te ne ma be tout le monde jam do dans bas na sens o te ne tout le monde mai ba azanga da ma ke an de nu go re sen na ro ka wa jera ti sen do du nam tan de song sens pe je na ka le ka bo re sen de chi tu ya song sens te Milarepa be che ba je ne chi ma chu ya ten chung sens o te ne ji ma ta te ma be nyam song yi xia xin da chi song du ten kan ba chu bi ta kan ba go to je fe te du ju to yo ba我这就对面也没些拉松，但是他帮不过这，然后你嘛晓得帮不这，用当面他们去说这真看吧，他这样过做意思啊，这心这个那么多，这什么的，没就出来呢。 And so then the wife, Dharma, Marpa's wife, then went before Marpa and said that you've put him through so many hardships and assigned him so much pointless work to build these towers. Just be compassionate with him and give him the Dharma. And then Marpa replied, prepare a meal and bring him to me. And so then she brought Milarepa before the Lama. And so then Marpa then said, if you want the Dharma, I will give it to you. And so that is when Marpa gave Milarepa first the ordinary refuge vows, and then the extraordinary instructions of the Vajrayana. For that, he told a brief account of Naropa's life and all the hardships he went through. And Marpa then said, but it will be difficult for you to follow this example. And so then Milarepa was developed so much devotion, was moved to tears. And so then another day, a few days later, Milarepa attended the Lama on a walk, and they came to a place, and the Lama said, here, in this place, you must build a square tower, gray, and with 9 stories, and it will not be torn down. But Milarepa didn't believe it and said, can your wife be present as a witness to this promise? And so then she was there present for the promise that the house will not be torn down. And then Milarepa started the construction.
Then Karachubye Mountain, Chunkin, Conchula, Tori, Tudon, Bozano, Sobonum, Jekuti, Chimboke, Mandula, Tosoroni, Zamno, Mabachone, Virginia, Jibe, La Chandutina, to the Convention, to Virginia, Jekuti, Napjula, Yona, Chuji. Do Chuji, Kaleko, Majondo, the Tonatan, Bosa, Juroshi, Kali, Bashi, you may say, near Holland. Njoro gomba namda choji yoto me koro ye dene do ton ne joro de me nam ze mo ye do ni syo ji ta yang chu choran lo na ma do ju zong ne na be kong zong xi da ji be ko go ba chong bo rang do be ke zi ke je do de zha de na de ne zi ma de be ci pa jian gu jie zhuo de na ma re na re ma be kong ka zi ban do zong ma chung ne la me ke ma de be rang ne ne do ba do la do bo jie pen chung che bo qi xian do be san bu si la de na si jian ka su long dian qie long zang ye ku yo be sa sa me do de me jin do de ye gong me ye zang ne ye me ye ge da bo zhe ne san kra nan ma ra zhe bi ding tuo su su ma ge ge ma jung ne jung de ne pan zhen gu jie me ye pa ra ma zhe ban do xian sa nga ta de ta nga li ke su ye xie ma chung me la me tu ba zhe ma che pian mong bu ka de qin nang gu gong me ma ba de zhe ma zhe kang nan hu ban yin zhe gu zhang ne zhe ma nu de chang bu qu ne pa de jung gu yong da de zhou guo wo zhe ne ta ma ru ke lo ma fu jian da xiong wo tong qiu do se le Torch to Ambo, Meton Sombo, say what I see some book. Milarepa, Combat did do Chimbo, Conso Zemo, the Mondo, the Sha songs. What the Mondo Sha said, Putene, Tigon Zeka, Zay, or I think come out. Then Combat talks ni Satia Lebu, talks on ni Satia Lebu, Marwa Lepsons, Marike, do the Carrichons, the Lapsons, do the Carson. 不见是说给这么的那啥送的虚云是去的啊他那马龙是老送是晓得当看把的没些就天天有这个你也有没多那么两个是老送是这多人要了买一买那多人都要嘛说那买的意思这也多发啥意思没嘛啥的这里杨家多其他做说是老送是哦他真是今年这也这样给我嘛杨家同是我他真是那种送多这也这这看把这说他是谁
So then he started to lay the foundation for the square tower. And so while he was building, as 3 of Marpa's disciples, his very close heart disciples, came, Ngudun Chedo of Shung, and Turdun Wange of Dol, and Meten Tumbo of Tangren. And they came playfully rolling a boulder into the place of where Milarepa had laid the foundation. So they rolled that boulder there as a foundation stone. And so then Milarepa continued to construct the house. And when he had reached the 2nd floor, then Marpa arrived and he asked where did this boulder come from? And Milarepa said, your 3 disciples, they brought it in. And then Marpa said, well, in that case, you have to remove the stone. And then Milarepa said, but you promised that this tower will not be torn down. But Marpa said, how are you going to remove the stone without tearing down the house? You have to remove that stone and return it where it came from. So then Milarepa had to tear down the tower again in order to return the stone. And so he said that my great disciples are not your servants. So obviously you have to take down the structure and remove the stone yourself. There ne ma de ne ze bara yum je ju sama cha na ba da chang se be ju me sem so chung ne chama long be to ji dong ang zang du ang mo qin bo xue be yum je xian ne de ne wang to bara ji xiong ne ma sang xie dang na wen jie sang jie na ne cha fe bu wang de di be na me xian ne tu jian ju wang yong jie yu zong ne wang ma zang da ma na wen na bu de na nga la yong da ka ke mo da bu wa da yi be ju me ju jie ge wang yong me wang ju yu ju rang yu na jie de xuo ti ni ge wang de tu ma du zong ne ga xiong zong ne xia dong de dong be sa la tian ba ga ba tu jian tu dang ne me mo bo zi ba tang se ba mo bo pa be na mi nang yam de chu ye mo mo yin ba jian na tu ge ne chung men hang wan yin na ta kan ne chu mi ba de bo xie du ban de ji xie jie na nya be yong jie zu ge ji ne sem zo ma zu ji zuo la ru ben du xie jiao多人天眼我的那么的那么就呢大就让强当比不出龙他的呢往上的嘛的把因从看的那么几遍的强龙的对你上他给嘛这兄呢那上大把他家嘛的什么有那些对把这个嘛的那些也吧就这差别给是就用这就说这用这给这呢这小事那么来学别那没从也从这那么之前的咱们看的这把人了嘛是个在送娃叫那给妈妈这咱们没想办都别给唱这个的别给那大翁啦给嘛中华嘛多没同的没了也嘛中华嘛同样嘛同的咱们同嘛的讲同呢那样我这边的为要让那么进步那边给下让这边的为可能年纪完都大部分的了就些那么学他们看弄的就那么这把那么学那么真的这个的中呢看的就讨论的就得吧你就说看的就个就讨的那边像这把那么学别个那看那么就说跟那就得了这种呢，真的往他过往给就把他这边种给把他从别留给嘛那对送种的就是送的呀，我那要说怎么去那么一那么，之前给嘛谁给别给你那边跟前那个各位你看看你，各位们这吧，你去在别不是头头去把他一边嘛的去。那罗宾别那就罗把鱼嘛先开的出，那么就当你娘那个那给啥就那大木兰的。天前给他都就是亚马逊的给他给那边去上面就是那边那边干一样，有时候接着呢，啥就偏些那边现在那边就从这个基本我这边没把过头接下就是的，那么也许就那边，这些呢他就那么他嘛。嘛说吧，地头就我这个看嘛，这个就忙，已经就就门了。
So Bavumi, from the Yom Giman, so Varade, de Varadu, Yobe Samaju Chibadan, Sacho, Changa, Chumatobe Simele, me Baraji to Matorus, or Tanimate, Marveke, the Metum, Sombola, Tata, the joke on son Senandi, the Milarepa that one day not is. That Chuan Karo kick was a thing, isn't God? The is a large is. That you like a chunking de Jagal Galis into Japel. Kayun said, Joan, she meets the Mardios as Ramcha Yamabu, Goose at the best, somebody loves. TJ and Yamaze, the Portson, Sandu Sons, Pig on that, Tati Yom Dami Mojala, she is. Tamayon Karaos, Jalas, Puris, Jalan, Jalaris, Joan Kikos. To me, said it, Dojon Daddy Mabu, his monster. Jonathan, you maris. Didn't Mrs. Ashes one of them, to do so. Or the Tangima, you don't know to become what you name in under some persons. Today, I gave out him, she did Yom Dami Hamoda, gave out him my job, and also more such a routine. Sadu in Ballet that you finish. That's you not that's you not come out, Maton has a show your money. Name Alaba, and Tongue would sell out songs. Today, you might take Maria Cross at us, the two nuns and others give a mask, DNA, really tell you, Pigeon, the Governor Steps. The color sell out songs, baby. The same from what you want. Then, the Maria Kitana give a job beside Kit and do he said. Or to last one's the Lamega is that now she say. What about go change up down it? Lamega just from Gumia, one sergeants, or to lose and change up down for Saturday. Young Tonchos are or that's new in the city. On that and do to cheese, the scene.
So then at one time, Marpa was giving an empowerment, the Chakasambhara empowerment, in honor of the disciple called Miten Zumpo. And so then Milarepa sat in line for the empowerment. And Marpa said to him, so where's your empowerment fee? And what offering do you have to bring? And so then Milarepa didn't have an offering, and he said that he promised me to give the empowerment. And then Marpa scolded him and said, I did not receive the empowerments and the teachings from India with all these hardships, just that to give them to you for building this little tower. And so he kicked him out. And Milarepa was very sad and cried. Then another time, Marpa was giving a Guya Maja empowerment. And so at that time, Marpa's wife prepared Milarepa by giving him a few things to offer. And so then again, Milarepa went in line and Marpa asked him, so where's your offering? And do you have an offering? And then Milarepa said, here is my offering. He offered the offering that the wife gave him. And then the Lama recognized it and said that you cannot use the things that already belong to me as your empowerment fee. You have to give me something that's yours, not that something that's mine. So then again, he kicked him out. And Milarepa was so sad that he thought of killing himself. And he pondered and wondered, is this because I have committed so much evil? But this is why I have to suffer so much. Should I kill myself? And so then the Lama's wife consoled him again, and so then again the Lama's wife went to the Lama and said, "You don't be so harsh on him, but give him the Dharma teaching. He has suffered so much, and his back is full of sores and wounds." So then Marpa asked, okay, bring him here. Milarepa came and Marpa said, so show me your wounds. And Milarepa showed him the wounds, and Marpa said, well, my master Naropa underwent 12 great and 12 minor hardships. So that definitely surpasses these wounds, your hardships. And so again, Milarepa was dismissed. And then in quiet after Milarepa had left, when Marpa was alone, Marpa felt very sad about having put him through so much hardship, but he couldn't show that. But when he was alone, he cried, and Marpa's wife actually saw him crying.
And so 说做吧接不个，你别真的接查，你去过进步些，有进那种去，别叫有人这接那样啊，当的前容说那把阿妈当天那个你们那个把自己他看他呢，就说把当中说把刚中先如果咱们那没那么前容没头没地吧，那别下前的的用到嘛有钱人同为那么那个这些用这个的钱呢，趁我那出国弄去参加咱们那吧。他们那边呢，那些也来去他们新说那边说的都有的，你妈去要他们送上班了，他们连七八七个人没下跑水送去个，让给多里村都被，他呢都那么真的，咱们这里都用的都有把它钱的也去把看啥人也去用不到的，我们来看的话说呢，我们原因把他老年的老着吧。嘛不很多钱，那么都是钱，没关系，没想法的，我这话些，老些啦，些那，就同些呢，我今年做过年个，我出去老些，上面设备些，就是弄完没老些，这边这个，咱们呢也的，咱们个呢也嘛呢，也就老多吧，嘛这不得了这个，现在的呢，就从那边到的，那把头的，我没把去了。就接着绿说说东嘛都别去，你那东嘛接我这我的营养从嘛大进呢，讲就这个街头有个把一马去拿我把都那边去了弄，往他容用这去那嘛现在我主席也从多有，那边路在些老北伯把些的老亲，哦，这种多啊。那真的你妈在他有我们平常学top他几个，他去让逻辑做 short 咩，马路线这个，我马路对不？我这真的情是，这上万的开始起个啥，真的起这起的马路线开始个啥拉松是，这有我们平常不逻辑，那么先把学不逻辑都是咩马路做拉学是拉松是，这马路就唐伯从另外一从啊观察的，新加坡话的另外一说特别假的嘛，而且从哪让的有的是。就从人家家那是平时看的一些，但当从是那家开的东西呗，这就是从是的，但用给他爱看起那那平常就没都学个，现在的都是其实，用个多些帮忙跟他是那从是，你那叫人家用些嘛从是那这什么偏帮的从多，我真的提及了，他这我总觉得给几多往去从是。往几多往去，他肯定跟做他西过噻，用马上拍卖底下，有些别的马路通用嘛，都是有咋情况这个事儿哇，这用马上拍卖做，那么马路通马路上有了，咱出过的有的，最近看看叫这里有人经常会去其实的种是在通用嘛，啥的有呢，他经常这个是，这有呢往用推是，我这哪从是，但呢他往用这有些他们就往用开路噻，从有些推是。有水的些，他说是用当面嘛的，说这这给我说说什么话给我的，这用当面当时，说是给当的，有的开的穷些的，那说是，有的我那拍卖的说是，或者我做看看的恰说经常会休息些，没去实在没谈些说是，等于我做说那边年一节啥才平民的，可能的有时那么经常写着，往那老是学说什么的，当面嘛是不经常往个的是有的。也有的是，他先把用起写的动嘛，对，没事，他讲个的son是，这你妈这，他可能看嘛，我真多son意思，按多son的，那么个了这，但那么先把这求上，让就拿这些啦，上这在son意思，这在son的那么个了这，看了，那就看了在说的，他们那些在先把这压力是，这里看了说在这里别，推说别忙不做son是呀，那你嘛那么些学呀，这个那么些son的，这个都俺让都里son的，你的。用看了要我今把大把这个的咱们这里先说东西，那么这个，他就多把老些学是拉松是多把老些学真的是接通了是拉松是接通在老红的，大的有那大在通的，他大的接通，接通吧，我接通在老红的，接通在老红的这大的有那大通通，大的有他就现在把进把涂鸦起。绿破手就把回了哇，我这不记得了哇，我这哪一天同事的哦，他给搞完家进没都，他怕老多人他搞完就那么你我进了去学长，这不把就老容易死。
So ngati this kyok ta som sama ang this kare losong.
接动吧。
Ye Tomba Hare.
Yetong Shira for Chimbe Tonari, then bomb Dupa, bomb Dupa.
Okay.
The long do then Dading was serious, Dading with Shira for Chimbe Chotobiachi. We look for some Choba, New Cam, Sonji Lave. What in Ruta, Gale, Kawaji, know something, Naratan, Kawaja Chim, Tangi. Lamat Nivo Chin, the answer, the near tapchin, Adamas goes on my law is.
So, so then so Black Dogman mom then was on the brink of despair. Said, what will we do? We have to come up with a plan. And so they came up with a plan, and for him to pretend to leave to receive Dharma elsewhere. And so she then gave him some provisions, and Milarepa then pretended to leave at a spot where Marpa could see him leave. And so then Marpa called his wife and he said, what are the two of you doing? And so then Dharma lamented and said, I am out of my wits. He came from far away to receive the Dharma, and all you have done is just abuse and scold him. So he wants to go elsewhere. He has made up his mind he will not receive the Dharma here. So he will seek a different Lama to receive his teachings. And I agreed and helped him with some provisions. And so then the Lama stepped out and approached Milarepa and slapped him and said, you have already offered me your body, speech, and mind when you first came, meaning that I am now the master of your body, speech, and mind. And how could you dare to leave? And again, he beat Milarepa. And again, Milarepa was heartbroken and full of despair. And so then, then Dharma saw Milarepa crying, and out of great compassion, she wanted to give him some Dharma teaching. So she gave him the meditation practice of Vacha Yogini, Vacha Varahi, and he practiced it. However, he didn't develop any inner experience, but it did help his mind a lot, and it lifted his spirits because his lady was very kind to him. And so then and at one point, another disciple of Marpa arrived in the area, Ngodun, Chudo of Chung, to receive a Hevajra empowerment from Marpa. And so at that time, Marpa's wife again had an idea because she owned a turquoise that she had received from her parents in secret. So supposedly Marpa didn't know anything about this turquoise. And she said her parents gave it to her to keep it secret, not showing it to anyone. And they gave it to her so that one day, if she were to separate from her husband, then she would need that turquoise. So she had kept that turquoise secret all along and thought it would be the perfect offering for the empowerment, since Marpa didn't know about it. So she gave the turquoise to Milarepa, and then Marpa appeared for the empowerment. And again, Milarepa appeared for the empowerment, and Marpa asked him, so where's your empowerment offering? And then Milarepa offered the turquoise, and Marpa said, oh, where did you get that from? And Milarepa replied, your wife gave it to me. And Marpa called her and laughed. And so then she came, and Marpa asked her, so where did you get this turquoise from? And so then she told him the story about how her parents gave it to her and in order to keep it secret. And then Marpa said, actually, since they gave it to you, you're really mine. So that's why the turquoise is mine. And Dharma said, I couldn't help myself. I had so much compassion for this child, and therefore, please accept it and give him the Dharma teaching. So then still Marpa did not agree, and he scolded Milarepa, and he was again kicked out of the empowerment, and then Milarepa really left, and he went on the road with a few provisions, and he stopped in some places to do pujas and recitations. And so there was this one place where he was asked to read the Prajna Paramita in 8,000 lines, so the medium length Prajna Paramita. And at that time, he also read the life story of Antaktungu, who also. So Taktungu is literally means he who always cries. And so this was a story about a master with great renunciation. And so when he read his life story, then Milarepa thought to himself, he was so determined, Taktungu, he was so determined to practice the Dharma. And compared to him, I have barely suffered any hardships for the sake of Dharma. It is possible that if I do not give up, that one day the Lama will give me the Dharma. Therefore, I will not give up. So then, kind of finding his courage again, he decided to return, and so he headed back.
Well, then I told Bana make a Yomdi Yabi Matobe Data Tonda, he be Yomdi Lamana Yabi Matobe Data Tonda, we told the last some Huey Surgeon be one of them Zimba, the Dodoma into Chairman, some Huey, he did not want to Jamian Gajulama, Kandro, Church, Gandam, Gandam, Koto, the Udom, Hoba, the Yom, near to Lebat on Lama, Yom Hidu, Gene, Lord, near to 出现弄完的南也出同嘛都去别跟点你跟点户口中都些经销新鲜都出来面出结果嘛的种什特别用节什么手机你把这电脑年前抢东北跟点户口中没那个些的听你户口中把往他的嘛 mình họ lộ chỉ cần đem mình sao đang đủ hiện tượng đối sao yang mi chủ张mà thôi mà đủ bông đang để thế này dùng gì kia thôi chứ chủ张mà thôi đủ bông nhưng để dùng gì hiện nay 我家路马桶落成为下不为说咱们就我家路马桶外面不能路马桶把一别给下这的同呢同学同下不为那那些最近这这同路慢慢因为就都把就些做讲东过看来的托什么就那的咱们的前面好了 我都没办法都被前面就多少有呢都不大松松的就蛮多些人都在阿妈样全部都了那么讲的就蛮他们都看连说啥的那那的小班都得看着定的就蛮他们都被接济面都被大群都去被用这用你到上面这边我们的下会被下 我这些用这些会点全部开了嘛，当然也可以那么也不行，用你这个的嘛，有个我主动就做把些他这些些那都现在都把它带了去，现在个厂呢的期间的，我现在在用当面他们大家让这是你同事都是老的是马瓦的，这是老的是不见是咱们是老的是，马瓦见下当的这个就那么看着。 他们家做嘛上面，人家点会说口口是，我听说老的是，我听就真的啊，没哪里朋友来不了，用上班位置就种，真的当晚弄啥的是哪是松是，这当晚弄啥的，那里要松的嘛，但马位工作用的这个是用起的，用这个是哪松是，我这那就在就那找忙不没劲是，当晚都那说东过来是，我真的就那看不从那个就那样去我是，我真的。 从现在，这咱当晚那点事嘛的，现在当然阿妈前头在老那个啥的上从事，这用当面他们你嘛那么先把这个啥当不中的事，这人的，当然在他脾气过，大些人历史都是那从事。
So then he had left, and meanwhile Dharma said to Marpa, so and now your enemy has gone, are you happy now? And Marpa said, like, who has gone? And Dharma said, the great magician, referring to Milarepa. Haven't you treated him like your deadly enemy? And when she said that, Marpa turned dark, and he started to cry. And he said, the Kagyu Lamas, the Dakinis, and Dharma protectors bring back my fortunate son. And so Dharma reported to Milarepa and said, now surely he will grant you the Dharma. And so then he again went into the presence of Marpa. And so then Marpa again told him, for the first, I will give you the Dharma, but first you have to finish the house. There's still 2 stories left to build. And then I will give you the Dharma. And then Milarepa then thought to himself that, well, and he said to Dharma, I do want to receive the Dharma, but it seems that the Lama will just not give me the Dharma. And I really miss my mother. I want to go home and see my mother. And Dharma kind of strung him along a little bit longer. I said, you're right, but I'll just stay for just a little bit longer and pretend to work, and you will receive the instructions.
Oh yeah, then so just catch on Malay, that's some Malay. Or the cheating, so this come down and over. Or think a song also that Shine was Chineti Tigor the Shuin Bangazo, Shine Tadakase. A Denchant was a Shuin, but Denchant Latas, Tabish in it, Madash in it, because on Madas in that. They also don't want that sound and deep down to the community Shuin. Or telling that Jadana to Tabi on the Gentile, Tabi, then the Sanjay Kundon, the China, social Mingdutera, going under Tangai as a child. Or till that simply semi Vanzina, or till the other Tavishinista. Or the Sanjay good curse Taba, the Sanjay good social or Chashal, pension. Then you tell then, Sanjay good to go on dinner, the grapes of Hata to Gray. Or ten duties Tavishinis, or the lap shot, 10 duty or the Luchi Gom. What it does is Sanjay could get on. That took a no something from the shorty. Or Tichi, then Chimo, Chimada, Muka, show Chimbo, that mean some Zob, Sala, Notrada, Samdi. Or Tene, Trova, the Muka show Chimbo, Yanama, should dance something. Sanjay would go the sugar on this Samdi Netine, and also to do. One go for it, that's in it, Karagan, Jadan Katsan, this Huimba, or the Karagana, also. This type of to know the absence.
So then we stopped the teaching at the story here, and now we will meditate. And so last week we practiced shamatha. So we have said that there is a shamatha with and without a support, and within the shamatha with the support, there's a pure and an impure shamatha with the support. Last week we meditated on the impure shamatha with the support, which is to focus your attention on an ordinary object like a piece of rock or a pebble as an ordinary object. Today we will practice the shamatha, the pure shamatha with support. And pure because we are using a pure object of focus. For example, Tanka, Buddha statue, and so on. So you place that in front of your field of vision and you focus on that single pointedly without distraction. So focusing on image of a Buddha is called the pure shamatha with a support. It is pure because by meditating on a Buddha form, we are placing a positive imprint, an imprint of a Buddha form into our mind. And also we are purifying in this way negativities and obscurations. So that's why it's called the pure shamatha. And so you place this image of the Buddha in front of you and use it as a object of focus, and you start by focusing your attention on the, like at the center of the image, the heart center of that Buddha. If you experience like a lack of mental clarity or sleepiness, then you can raise your gaze and focus at the point between the Buddha's eyebrows. And if you experience a lot of thoughts and restlessness, then you can direct your gaze to the lower parts of that Buddha image, like the seat of that Buddha image. And so in this way, I'm focusing pointedly. But basically, when you practice shamatha, you can use any method that we have mentioned, also from last week. So now we're going to meditate for a little while.
근데 아주 상제고 때문이나 소소 상제고 좀 때문이나 단나 때가 상제고시 그거 근데 지난 되게스 봐. 나 때가 되는 파트를 상제고시 매네 어떻게 보면 되게스.
Okay, so if you do not have an image of a Buddha, then you can also visualize an image of the Buddha at the level of the tip of your nose. So you can just visualize a small image of a Buddha there.
근데 제가 조금 저기 샘크 양보 발로로 저기네 어디 나는데 제 많이 맞지 저 어디 가서 여행 송도 컴퓨터에 저기로 어디 많이 맞지 컴퓨터다 이 메타 춤을 준비 메소 양양 동스 말아래 어디 이些전부 메타 충충 준비 메소别想没不讲黑的人要切切着个他们穷穷人呢这哪一在说到就有的一些穷穷要准备给啊没是样样从我这种这个上说我真的全把他们应该结果的是
So most important when you meditate is that your mind is in a very open and relaxed state and without any distraction. So that's most important when you meditate, because when you are distracted, then you are obviously not meditating. Then this is not how you can meditate. Milarepa also said that you have to nurture the spark of awareness over and over again. So you habituate to this spark of awareness, just like you're growing a fire. First, you have a small fire, and then if you keep fanning the fire and adding wood to it and so on, it will grow stronger and stronger. So in the same way, you have to develop your mindfulness by practicing it over and over again. And the key to mindfulness is to sustain a state of non-distraction.
真的这样的状况嘛，这些是不一样意思。
Then we will meditate again for a few minutes.
Rồi đi gần tung gung.
Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root and lineage Lamas, divine assembly of the adults and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, yogis, and Dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara, nirvana, and the innate fruit of virtue, not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Prateka Buddha. May all other sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors of harm, misleading Maras, and the forms of demons experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this last fruit of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind soon be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of states. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torments of suffering not arise at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of mind as such, and the prevailing clarity of Dharma. May I in any case be with the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the Dharma.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Ina.
Okay. Yeah.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lama.
Thank you. I just
Thank you.
Ina. Nga zo chwa chene yang turgung chi dang chiang sang nga silang mo. Tozi karma juje.
Oh, sanin ki chap lại.
Cái con cái chả sửa. Karma juje. Okay, thank you. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you very much, teacher.
Buenas noches.
Thank you.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.